kid's drooping. This kid's. I need to try.
Believe it or not, the player who just destroyed clicks is on the controller. Just because you're using joysticks doesn't mean you can't destroy the keyboard and mouse pros. Today, we're going to be showing you everything you need to know in order to go pro on controller in Chapter 4. And make sure you watch till the end, because these tips will definitely make you a much better controller player. The first and most important factor to ever improving on anything, let alone controller, is belief. Belief is the primary driving force in your ability to perform well and become good. Every single pro player today that made it had that belief. If you'd watch their interviews, they'd always say, "I dreamed and I believed in my ability." And it actually happened. If you believe in your ability to become a controller monster, you'll become one. We believe you will, so don't listen to any negativity or naysayers and keep striving to become good, and you'll thank us one day. If you want to make it as a pro controller player, you need to start playing more aggressively. And while you may think that sitting back and only taking fights you're forced into will increase your chances of surviving and make you a calculated player, you couldn't be any more wrong. Of course, being able to read your situation to decide whether a fight is worth it or not is still a needed skill, but you shouldn't be overcomplicating things, especially when you're trying to improve as a fighter. From now on, stop worrying so much about your arena points. Yes, having a ton of points under your name is cool for bragging to your friends, but you're not going to improve as a fighter by camping near the edge of the zone and swooping in for the final kill. Start treating your arena matches as an opportunity to get better. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you'll know that putting yourself in all types of situations is the perfect way to do that. Remember the famous phrase, practice makes perfect. When you play arena and only take fights where you have the clear upper hand, you won't have any clue what to do when you find yourself in shambles during a tournament. This is why we recommend pushing all types of fights in arenas, sometimes even ones that seem like a certain death trap. Obviously, you should only do this within reason, but taking these types of fights will seriously help you improve your quick thinking skills. Not only should you start playing more aggressively in arena, but when you're defending yourself as well. Constantly running away and playing a prolonged game of cat and mouse may allow you to stay alive a little bit longer, but it ruins your chances of actually surviving the fight. You need to start looking for counterplays when getting pushed in a vulnerable situation. Dealing damage to your opponent in return can completely switch the roles of the fight, and it's really the only way to get them to stop pursuing you. And if you play your cards right, your counterplay can be enough to send them back to the lobby. Take a look at this clip from Claw for an example. Even though he's getting pushed by multiple players at once and has under 150 HP, he doesn't hide or try to run away. Right as the opponent swings on his wall, he makes a wall edit and cracks his shield. From here, the roles of the fight completely change, and he finishes the player off with some aggressive piece control. Another great way to be aggressive when defending yourself is by going for pre-fires. If you didn't already know, each time a build is broken for replacement, there's a small window of time where the opponent can take damage. Shooting your weapon right as the build breaks will allow your shot to deal damage through the piece. Take a look at this clip. Claw is in a 1v2 situation for the victory royale. As he's boxed up in fresh metal, his opponent drops on his side to apply pressure. Right as he breaks the wall, Claw pre-fires him for 137 with his thunder. While most people in this situation would continue reboxing away, he knew that he needed to get a quick knock if he wanted to win, and he did just that. If you're serious about improving, head on over to ProGuides.com, where you can access all of our courses and bootcamp content for just $7.99. And if personalized coaching is more your speed, you'll get 10% off any session with any of our pros.
ProGuides, play like the pros. Yeah!
One of the ways you can make it as a pro on controller is by taking advantage of your input. Although the days of controller aim assist being completely broken are in the past, there are still plenty of ways you can use your input to your advantage. First off, head into your settings and turn the disable pre-edit setting off. For some reason, when this setting's on, your edits are noticeably delayed. And yes, playing with this setting off might cause you to make an accidental pre-edit here and there, but that is a whole lot better than playing with the constant instant delay. Aside from this quick tip, you need to realize that your movement potential on controller towers over any keyboard and mouse player. Yes, double movement may limit the gap, but the 360-degree movement you have when using a joystick will always be better than any double movement software. Start paying attention to the movement of controller pros when fighting, and you'll see how important it really is. Take a look at this clip from Claw, for example, and you'll see how smart mantles can help you win fights. He starts by jumping off the high ground for a shotgun shot, but misses. He then builds up to look for another angle, and when he sees that he's about to get edited on, Claw strafes to the right to dodge the opponent's shot and mantles over the wall. From here, he simply just gets in his face and outtrades him to finish the fight. Although mastering your directional movement is great, you'll need to be smart with your tactical sprint as well in order to be a true movement magician. Contrary to popular belief, there's more to the tactical sprint than just rotating around the map faster. Using your tactical sprint to speed up standard movements when fighting can sometimes mean the difference between life and death. You can see why speed matters so much in this clip right here. After taking a chip shot on the low ground, Chaos jumps up and tactical sprints across the box to piece control the opponent, finishing the sequence with a super flashy kill. Without that initial speed boost from the tactical sprint, the opponent might have had just enough time to slip his way out and into safety. Aside from using your movement to your advantage, you can also benefit from being a team player. While there's definitely controller players out there who are more mechanically skilled than some of the top keyboard pros, it is typically harder for controller players to lead fights for their teammates. Just because you're not leading fights though, doesn't mean you're not fragging. You're simply fighting smarter as a team. Take a look at this clip for example. Since you can no longer use Shockwave Hammer to replace walls as a solo, Pump places 2 counterpiece control cones and holds out his wall while turbo building. Right as his teammate swings the hammer, Pump is able to instantly replace the wall and start attacking. The timing of his duo's hammer swing gave the opposing team absolutely no time to realize what was going on. Setting up high IQ plays like this, instead of aggressively forcing your way into an opponent's box, breaks the brain-dead controller player stereotype and shows that you don't need aim assist in order to be successful. Alright, Fortnite fam, it's time for the question of the day. Who is your favorite controller player of Chapter 4? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. For us at ProGuides, we've got to hand the crown to G-Money. If you want to separate yourself from the millions of other controller players, you need to start being more calculated with your piece control plays. Mastering the basics like wall replaces and coning off players is great, but you need to take things even further if you're looking to make it as a pro. One of the ways you can do this is by mastering the art of piece control traps. Piece control traps are basically traps of counter piece control you place in the hopes of your opponent running into them. In this clip, Pump executes the left-hand piece control trap perfectly. He starts off the engagement by leaping over the opponent's cone and shooting him in the back with the shotgun. Noticing that the left side is completely open, Pump jumps up and places a wall and then immediately edits and places 2 cones. All he does from here is wait for his opponent to walk into the trap for a free shot. All he has to do from here is take a new angle to get in and finish the fight. Sometimes the reason controller players struggle with piece controlling their opponents is because they're placing their builds in the wrong order. You should always almost place your cones first to trap them and then add the walls. You can see why it matters so much in this clip right here. After dealing some initial damage with his SMG, Chaos starts rushing his opponent. After making his triple edit, he sees the player ramping up and away from him. Chaos sits back and catches him with a cone and then places a wall for protection and edits on him for a clean knock. Since he placed the cone before the wall, the player had no chance to slip his way out, leaving it up to Chaos to simply land the shot. Aside from the order in which you piece control, how you piece control matters as well. When you're pressuring an opponent and trying to replace their wall, don't rely on only your pickaxe. Doing this is much slower and leaves you completely vulnerable if they decide to edit on you. In this clip, Claw uses his SMG to spray his way down into the box for a free shield crack with his shotgun. As the opponent frantically tries to get away, Claw keeps the pressure going with his SMG to replace each wall. He then uses a combination of his shotgun and what he has left in his SMG clip to replace the final ramp and finish off his opponent. If Claw were to swing his pickaxe right here, the opponent would have a free opportunity to take a shot on him. Well, that wraps things up for today's Fortnite fam. Did you enjoy the video? Be sure to leave a like and ring that bell to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest tips and tricks we have to offer. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let us know if there's anything you would be interested in learning more about. Remember, just because controller was nerfed doesn't mean you were. Utilize the tips and tricks we showed you today and you'll be on your way to the pro scene in no time. Once again, my name is Zephyr and I'll see you in our next video here at ProGuides.